So Sharp.
Yes.
Just as a
let's go ahead, man.
Let's go big picture.
Let's do it.
It feels like, look, and I've been there. A year and change ago, I felt the feeling of, oh, everybody feels comfortable teeing off on me. Like it's a fucking trend. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of positive reinforcement for a long time. All of a sudden, everything's going to kind of swing back around, and whatever positive encouragement I've had, it's going to be kind of replaced by negativity for a period of time. It feels
as
have realistically pretty much all of us at certain points in your life. That's just kind of how it's going to go. Look at this fucking thing.
And the more revered you are, the more respected you are, the higher on a pedestal you put, there's more room for that, there's more room for that decline, for that hate, for, they're waiting for that. They're waiting on that. The higher pinnacle you reach.
I guess it's all about how you weather the storm.
1,000%.
That's a fact.
I don't think it's about what happens. I don't think it's about what's said, what's not said. You know what I'm saying? I think at the end of the day, it's all about how you weather that shit, man, and how you treat it. You got to treat shit accordingly, because people are waiting to see you switch up at an instant, and just this character that they feel like was built just comes down crumbling. But hey, homie, this shit very real with me, dog. I don't care what nobody say, my nigga. Hey, my resume is always gonna be my resume. I've always stood on my own candle. Now, for a lot of the shit that's been going on with, when we was on the news the last time on the news with Buddy and they shit, like
AJ, right?
I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. I'm used to getting into it with some big names. So it's kind of hard when I got niggas, and no offense to them or nothing, but when you got people like that, when you're a small fry nigga, it's like, what am I doing arguing with you? That immediately puts me on your level. So your outlook of saying like, well, I just really don't like your shit. Okay, that's cool. There's 1,000 people that don't like my shit. Gang, join the bandwagon. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit ain't gonna stop.
So you feel like it would devalue you to even be engaged in a back and forth.
And and I'm catching myself entertaining certain shit, and it might be cool for now. You know what I'm saying? But once you get caught in that shit, it's like,
if I'm not mistaken, you was doing millions by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you were on this platform. No, you were on this platform, but you were interviewing people one-on-one. You've cracked over. So it doesn't take a team for Sharp to generate the energy that he's going to generate.
But I still was a team player and made sure I worked with everybody in the building. Yeah. Everybody, especially when I was getting them numbers, I always try to pull somebody in like, hey, you want to come sit down on this one? Might do good for you. Or you want to come sit down on this one? Might do good for you. Hell, look at what me and Gina accomplished.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's certain people who've been part of No Jumper over the years that got to sit on interviews with you that got 1 million views plus, that realistically probably never would have been on a video that got 1 million views plus at any other point in their life, and it's like, for better or for worse, because
so I shared my brand.
And
whatever I was at that time, I shared it.
And I feel the exact same way, in the sense of like, there was like an inflection point in my career where it's like, I could have like always kept this shit about me. And at a certain point I was like, you know what? No, like I want to bring other people in. But then when I don't regret it, but I do see the the flip side of it, in the sense that like you bring people in, you kind of share your fan base, and then there are certain people, like I'll throw T-Rel in the conversation, who were doing like 100 views on the podcast that they were doing pre No Jumper, and now he's got a whole fucking career off of the fact that he came on here and made a good impression and shit.
But you having a squad does cast a wider net at a certain point.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah. So it's like you got to take the positives and the negatives. With the same thing, if I had a label, you're going to sign some artists and they're going to be super fucking successful, and you're going to make a ton of money off them. Those same artists are going to turn on you as soon as it's convenient for them, like some large percentage of them.
But always
and
be
you're gonna
proud
have
of
a
your
whole
kids.
army. You're going to have a whole army of dudes who you sign that you try to push, that nothing's going to happen to, and then they're going to be mad at you too. So
people
it's like,
are loyal to fed them last.
I've got people who became super fucking successful on this platform and ended up becoming haters, and I got people who I gave 1,000 chances on this platform and never did shit with the amount of attention they were getting, and then they still became haters.
And you know what's so
with
cold?
chairs
I'm
and
not
shit.
even, and let me land. Like, I'm not even saying that what I've done with people changed their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even put that on them. Their trajectory was going to be theirs regardless.
How?
But, hold on.
Wow, don't give them that much.
No, but hold on. No, because I'm not a hater, dog. It's hard for me to hate with people that I've been around. That's hard to do for me. People I don't know, that shit's easy to bump heads, bump shoulders, bump all that shit. You don't give a fuck about them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at it like that, but I do know that I've shared, like I've made sure I've shared on me with everybody.
You got me on South White Underbelly.
Everybody's ate with me. And man, and that's just one small thing that I can do for somebody that may be big for you.
That was big for me.
I'm not gonna sit there and hold it against you and be like, man, Lush, you can't never talk to me crazy, nigga. I got you on soft white underbelly.
Hey, bro, that's for any drug addict. That's like the Oscars. Like being a soft white underbelly. Like
me using my plug. Me and Mark are close. You know what I'm saying? So if I make a phone call, he's gonna push that shit to the front. He does 1,000 interviews, dog. He'll tape 1,000 of them and drop 5.
That's what he said.
No,
he'll do a lot. And not drop that many of them.
He was very adamant about the fact that it was like normally he wouldn't even deal with somebody that's already a notable or somewhat notable even YouTube personality, but based on Sharp's recommendation, he was. And then once he chopped it up with me and he sees that I just don't stop talking, he's like, oh yeah. This guy's gold.
Right, think about it. You reached out to Mark to get Lush on there, no problem. Lush on the pod. I reached out to Mark to try to get OG Suicide on that bitch, which, no offense, but I think he's a way more eligible candidate than you.
I feel like you would definitely do great on there.
I got rejected. No, we don't want to interview rappers. I go, well, this ain't really just a regular rapper, but all right, fine, whatever you want to say.
More than a rapper.
What you got to say about it, Brick? You trying to say something?
I need Brick on fucking soft white underbelly.
What do you got to say about the situation in hand?
As far as
there's a lot of situations,
because I've been involved in all of them, so I was just like the dude AJ and all that. That's cute and all that shit. Like it's cool. Keep doing your thing. We not even in the same fields, bro.
At all.
And you pop
talking
out
about $1 million on a short, my nigga. I remember my first beer. My kid can get $1 million on a short. Like I mean, it's not. That's not a fucking like a super challenge.
It's not the same game. $1 million views on a 1-hour podcast versus $1 million views on a short.
How many shorts we got that's got millions on it? We never talk about.
Yeah. I never even. I wouldn't even notice.
That's equivalent.
But they're early in their career, so realistically, like if they have 15, 20,000 subscribers, like a huge percentage of those probably came from that one short.
Yeah, stop being judgmental. You beginners in the podcast.
Okay, but in their defense,
that's what they do.
They've basically become what they are and gotten the level of recognition that they've gotten because of the fact that they do podcast criticism, that they critique the dynamics and different podcasters and shit like that. So to me, when I saw him kind of coming at you in that situation, like I hadn't thought about who was going to be on the news or whatever. My only involvement was AJ saying, I'm coming to town. Will you do like something with me and the guys for our podcast? And like, can we do some shit on the news or some shit like that? I was like, yeah, let's do that. You can come on the Tuesday show, whatever. Because I show love to like up and coming podcasters, and I think they have a lot of potential. You know?
And I'm glad that I didn't really super engage because on his way out, he said, yeah, I had to spice it up for, you know what I'm saying, PNP.
What's that mean?
PNP. He had to spice it up for that nigga's channel.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said on the way out. He says, "Oh, Sharp, I was just trying to spice it up for him because I know he's gonna make a clip of it."
So like, and just
that's weird to acknowledge that, but
Adam's already clarified multiple times, but just since we all in the same room right now, you did not incentivize them in any capacity or encourage them to get on.
We didn't have a conversation about what topics we're going to be discussing. Because keep in mind, it's the news, so typically the conversations surround like a bunch of random topics that were picked out the night before or the morning before, So that's why I put out the $1 million bounty, which AJ can gladly collect on if he wants to. He's already like rebutted this.
They say somebody in the A's also, if you scroll to the X, they say somebody in the A's say they got a screenshot of the receipt.
Hey, if you got a screenshot, by all means, lay it on me because I know 1,000% on my girl, on my kid, on my mama. I never instructed AJ to have any kind of negative conversation with Sharp. If there was something so important to me, a critique or whatever, that I just had to tell Sharp, we have a pretty cool relationship. I could probably just like hit him on the phone. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. But
Compton A.
What about? Oh yeah, I saw him saying that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I mean, like, they don't exactly have the highest level of credibility in the game right now because that's totally fucking made up.
We look at it right, and we talk about numbers. That was the highest numbers that he got sitting down with me. He don't got nothing else. He's tried it already. Went and made another video, I think, or some shit like that. Didn't do shit. Hell, he even sat down on his platform. They did like 7,000 views. It's not like, come on, bro. Like I don't get you niggas mode here. Like, especially over here, dog. This big boy league over here. You either show up or shut up. You know what I'm saying? It's not really, you can get your ass cut over here quick. You know what I'm saying?
Quick.
We all know that. So like that type of shit right there, I'm just looking at it like, no offense to them, not even calling them weenies, but that's weenie shit. You know what I'm saying? It's puny for me to even deal with. Like, you don't like my show? Hey, man, that's cool, my nigga. Say what you want to say. You still could never beat me on your best. and on my worst when it comes to this shit.
Do you feel like they're kind of like armchair quarterbacks to a degree?
Yeah, but that's the whole new meta on social media, which is, or on YouTube in particular, where let's like just look at the comedy space. You got comedy enforcement, you got Too Lazy to Try, you got all these different dudes who realistically probably would not really be able to run their own successful podcast, just shooting the shit, talking about what their day was like or whatever.
Hard to do.
But then they'll critique different podcasts, and they're able to really create like a brand name for themselves. Danny from the Stop, I feel like, has done it expertly by, talking about the Joe Budden podcast to the extent where the Joe Budden podcast can't fucking ignore him. They just like have to acknowledge him on a consistent basis and shit like that. I didn't intend for them to like come in with a critique the same way I didn't tell AJ to come in and call Dejan sassy. He just did that. That was just like where he was at. He wanted it. And to be fair, I mean, Dejan needed to be told something at that point. Like, he needed somebody to tell him that he was acting kind of weird, right?
I felt bad once I found out bro was gay that I had been calling him sassy because I literally had no clue.